If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in a home in Jacksonville, North Carolina right now, I want you to forget almost everything you've heard about Jacksonville over the last 3 years. Because the market we had in 2021, 2022, and 2023 is not the market we're in today. And here's why that matters. If you're a seller and you're pricing your home in Jacksonville based on what your neighbor or buddy in unit got 2 or 3 years ago, you could be sitting on that home a lot longer than you expected. And if you're a buyer and you're assuming that every seller is somehow desperate and every house is negotiable and they're going to give away the kitchen sink, you could be missing out on a home that's actually priced correctly. So today we're going to go take a real look at Jacksonville, North Carolina and Onslow County housing market. And we're going to talk about prices. We're going to talk about things like inventory. We're going to talk about days on market. We're going to talk about what buyers are doing. We're going to talk about what sellers are doing. And most importantly, I'm going to show you what these numbers actually mean if you're thinking about making a move. I'm Stephen L. Skakandy with the Skakandy Group at LPT Realty, and I'm proud to serve Jacksonville and Onslow County, North Carolina. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to Living in and Around Jacksonville, North Carolina. This is the channel where I help you understand what it's really like to live here, work here, buy here, sell here, and relocate here in Jacksonville and Onslow County. So do me a favor, okay? Right now, hit that like, smash that subscribe button, because if you're moving and thinking about moving to Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune, Sneads Ferry, Hubert, Richlands, Swansboro, Holly Ridge, or anywhere else in Onslow County, you're not going to want to miss this. This is your channel, and you want this in your corner. Now, before we get into those numbers, there's something incredibly important you need to understand. Jacksonville is not one single real estate market. Onslow County isn't even one single market either. Jacksonville is different from North Topsail. Richlands is different from Sneads Ferry. Hubert's different from Swansboro. A home near Camp Lejeune is different from a home near the Intercoastal Waterway. And a $250,000 home is competing against a completely different buyer pool than a $600,000 home. So when you hear somebody say, Jacksonville is a buyer's market, or Jacksonville is a seller's market, my first question is, where? There is no one market. And what price range? Because the countrywide average can hide what's happening right now, right in front of you. And that's why I don't want you making a $300,000, $400,000, or $500,000 decision based on some national headline, or worse yet, a zestimate. I want you to be looking at the actual market you're buying or selling in. And that's exactly what we are going to do right here. All right, I know you want me to start with the price. So according to Realtor.com's June 2026 market data, the median home price sold in Jacksonville was actually $295,000. The median list price was $319,990. And across Onslow County, the median home price sold was $319,945 with a list price of $344,850. Now stop right there, because I want you to understand something. That doesn't mean every house in Jacksonville is $295,000. Not even close. You've got entry-level homes. You've got established neighborhoods. You've got a lot of new construction. And you've got homes with acreage. You've got some waterfront. You've got homes closer to the beach. You've got military housing. And of course, you've got investment properties. Don't forget luxuries. And these are completely different markets. But that $295,000 Jacksonville median gives us an important starting point on our journey. It tells us where the middle of the market was sitting back in June. And here's another number I want you to pay attention to. Jacksonville was around $172 per square foot. Meanwhile, Onslow County overall was around $194 per square foot. Again, don't take those numbers and automatically apply them to your house. A newer home in a desirable subdivision is not necessarily comparable to a 30-year-old home that might need a roof, a new heating and air unit, some flooring, or kitchen renovation. And that's where actual comparable sales come in. And that's where having somebody like me that knows the local market actually matters, to help you take the guesswork out of things like that and back it up with facts, not emotion. Now, here's where the market starts to get interesting. In Jacksonville, Realtor.com reported a median 40 days on the market in June of 2026. For Onslow County overall, it was 47 days. Now compare that to the mentality we developed during those crazy years. Back then, you put a house on the market, you had 10 offers in 10 minutes, multiple showings, multiple offers, and sometimes that house was almost under contract immediately. I know because I did it multiple times. And that's not something you should automatically expect today. That's not necessarily bad news though. It means we're returning to a market where price matters, condition matters, presentation matters, and marketing matters. How about strategy? That matters too. Because today buyer has more information than ever before. They can see what your house was listed for. They can see your price reductions, and they can see how long you've been on the market. And they're going to compare that to homes, the other 5 houses that recently sold, okay? So if you're a seller, don't get to hide from the market. The market is going to tell you what it thinks, and that's going to show up in the amount of attention and offers that you get when you go to the market. This is where buyers should start paying attention. Realtor.com reported approximately 928 homes for sale in Jacksonville in June of 2026. And across Onslow County, that number was approximately 2,386 homes. That's important because when buyers have more options, they can afford to become more selective. Think about it. If there's only 1 or 3 houses that meet your criteria, you're probably going to move quicker, make a decision quicker. But if there are 15 homes that meet your criteria, you're going to start comparing. Which one has a better roof? Which one has better HVAC? Which one's closer to the schools? Which has a better lot? What has the lower HOA? What home is closer to Camp Lejeune? Which one has a better kitchen? Which seller is offering closing cost assistance? Which one has a lower price? And suddenly, the seller has to compete. And that is why simply putting a house on the MLS and praying for a buyer is not a strategy. It's a hope. Hope is not a marketing plan. And like we used to say in the Marine Corps, hope is not a course of action. Now, here's where I don't want buyers to get carried away. More inventory does not mean every house is a bargain. In fact, in June 2026, data showed Onslow County and median sale to list ratio of 1.0 for May of 2026, meaning the median price was the selling price, okay? Zillow also reported 24.5% of sales below the list price and 44% above. So what does that tell us? You can't name your price, okay? There are still homes that buyers want, and those homes are going to sell very quickly. And there are still situations where buyers need to compete. And this is where the phrase I use with my clients becomes incredibly important. You don't negotiate against the seller. You negotiate against the market. If the house is overpriced, we need to know that. If the house is perfectly priced, we need to know that too. And if there are 3 comparable houses sitting on the market, we need to know what they're offering. So if you're looking at a house with 3-car garages, half-acre lot and location you want, that's important. And that's why I don't tell buyers, just offer 10% under asking. That's lazy advice, and we've got to look at the numbers and build a bigger, more sophisticated picture of what we're seeing. So if you're buying a house in Jacksonville right now, watch this clock, okay? Your house has been sitting for a few days. Don't assume the seller is desperate. But if it's been sitting for weeks, we start to ask questions like why? Was it overpriced? Is there something wrong with the house? Or is the seller testing the market? Maybe the house had a contract that fell apart. Is the condition keeping buyers away? Is there a financing issue? Is there a problem with the appraisal? Or is the seller simply unwilling to negotiate? Those are all completely different situations. And this is where I tell my buyers, don't just look at the listing. Let's look at the history. Let's look at the original list price. Let's look at price reductions. Let's look at how long it's been active. I even compare previous sales and comparable properties. And then we build a strategy around what all that information tells us. Now I want to talk to the sellers, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you. One of the biggest mistakes I see sellers make is this. My neighbor sold for $400,000. Great. When was that? 2022? 2023? What condition was the house in? What were the interest rates doing? What was the other inventory? How many competing houses were on the market or even in the neighborhood? What did the buyer pool look like then? We can't take a sale from 3 years ago and add $50,000 and call that a pricing strategy. That's simply not how real estate works. Your house is competing against what a buyer can buy today, not when somebody bought 3 years ago, and certainly not what Zillow says, not what your neighbor thinks or your daddy today. And if you're going to sell your house in Jacksonville, I want you to know what you're actually competing against, and I want to have a real conversation about what we need to do to accomplish our mission. Now, here's something very important, especially in Onslow County: new construction. Because if you're selling an existing home, you aren't just competing against other resales. No, you're competing potentially against builders. And builders have something individual homeowners don't always have: incentives. A builder may be able to offer such things as closing cost assistance, and what's been particularly popular right now is interest rate buy downs, upgrades, appliances, warranty coverages, or other incentives. So if you're selling a home that's 5 or 10 years old and a buyer can buy a brand new home for a similar payment, you have to understand what you're competing against. And that is why your home's price isn't just about what do I need to net? It's about what alternative does the buyer have? And that is a completely different set of questions. Just like in MCDP1, where we turned the map around and looked at things from the enemy's perspective, we're doing the same thing here. So Onslow is not just Jacksonville. Let's zoom out on a map, because if you're relocating here, you need to understand the geography. You've got Jacksonville, you've got Richlands, you've got Hubert, you've got Sneads Ferry, you've got Holly Ridge, okay? And you've got Swansboro nearby. You've got North Topsail, you've got different communities in all of these great places. And they have different price points. They have different lifestyles and different reasons why people choose each one, okay? For example, somebody stationed at Camp Lejeune may want to minimize the commute to Mainside, right? Someone working at New River Air Station may prioritize a completely different area. Someone wanting the beach access may be willing to drive further. Someone wanting acreage may be perfectly happy being further inland. And of course, someone wanting new construction may look in an entirely different direction. This is why I created this channel, living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina, for the simple fact that it's not just about showing you houses, okay? It's about helping you figure out the answer to these questions, and that is where you should actually live. There's another huge factor you can't ignore here: military. We got Camp Lejeune, New River Air Station, Stone Bay. Marsox is Stone Bay. The Marine Corps creates a housing market dynamic that's very different from many communities around this country of ours. People relocate here constantly. PCS orders come in, PCS orders go out, families arrive, families leave, and that creates constant housing demand. But it also creates a challenge for sellers. Your buyer may have a very specific timeline. They may have orders and they need it today. They may have a reporting date that's in the future. They may have a VA loan. They may need seller concessions. They may be comparing your house against military housing or an apartment complex. So if you're selling in Jacksonville, you need an agent like me who understands the military buyer. And if you're a military buyer, you need someone who understands your timeline. I've not only been there, done that, I've lost a t-shirt along the way. So So let's start bringing this together. If you're buying a home in Jacksonville right now, I actually think there are some great opportunities for you in this market in this August of 2026. Just gotta be strategic. Don't wait for the market and some mythical perfect buyer's market, but instead, we're gonna look for individual opportunities to find that house that's been sitting, or find that house that's had a price reduction, or find that seller that's offering concessions. We have to find the home that's been overlooked, and then we run the numbers, because the best deal isn't always the house with the biggest price reduction. Sometimes it's a house that's priced correctly. It's a seller that has motivation. Maybe it needs a little work. And sometimes that $325,000 house is much better than the $300,000 house, because that $300,000 house might need $50,000 worth of repairs. So you have to look beyond the sticker price and look at it from a more sophisticated point of view. So if you're selling, your strategy should be simple. Stop chasing the market. Lead the market. Let's price it correctly. Let's prepare the property. Let me photograph it professionally. Let me market it aggressively. Make it easy for me to show. Then let's keep an eye on the competition and monitor feedback. And if you're getting 20 showings and no one's making an offer, that is information in itself. If you're getting almost no showings, that's information. If buyers constantly say the house is beautiful, but we're concerned about the price, that's information. Your job isn't to argue with the market. Your job is to listen to it. And my job as your agent is to help you interpret what the market is saying. So here's the biggest mistake I want you to avoid. Using a countrywide number to make a property-specific decision, that's the mistake, okay? Because the average doesn't tell you what your house is worth. The median doesn't tell you what your house is worth. Zillow most certainly does not tell you what your house is worth. And a national housing headline from the Wall Street Journal doesn't tell you what your house is worth either. Your house has a location, condition. Your house has a piece of land it's on, okay? It has upgrades, it has competition that's local, and your house has a buyer pool. These are things that we have to analyze together as we come up with our course of action on how best to market and sell your house. So if you're thinking about buying a home in Jacksonville or anywhere in Onslow County, here's what I want you to do. Call me, text me, email me, send me a message. Tell me such things as your price range, where you're moving from, where you're working, whether you are military or civilian, and what your ideal lifestyle actually looks like. And I'm going to help you narrow it down to areas that make sense for you. And if you're not ready to talk to an agent yet, that's fine. That's exactly why you're on this channel, living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina. Be sure to like, click, and subscribe. And if you're thinking of selling your Jacksonville or Onslow County home, don't guess at your price, okay? Don't use the house down the street, don't use his estimate, and don't use what your buddy in the unit used to sell his house last year. Let's look at the actual competition. Let's look at recent sales. Let's look at what's currently under contract, and let's look at what's sitting. And let's try to figure out what your house needs to win. So send me a message and I'll put together a property-specific marketing plan just for you. We'll take the guesswork out. I won't fluff. I'll just give you the numbers and then my assessment based on the good, the bad, the ugly, and you've got to make the call on how you want to proceed from there. It's just that simple. And before you go, if this video has helped you understand the Jacksonville housing market even a little bit better, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, because this is exactly what we do here at Living in and Around Jacksonville, North Carolina. We talk about Jacksonville real estate. We talk about Onslow County neighborhood. We talk about Camp Lejeune and relocation, VA home buying, Topsail Island, Sneed's Ferry, Richland, Hubert, Holly Ridge, Swansboro, that local housing market. And of course, what it's really like to live here. So I don't want you to making a $300,000, $400,000, or $500,000 decision based on some 30-second TikTok video. I don't do TikTok. I want you to stay informed and I want you to make good decisions with the information you get. So be sure to like, click, and subscribe living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina. And if you know somebody who's getting ready to PCS to Camp Lejeune, send them this video. If you know somebody who's thinking about selling, send them this video. And if you're thinking about moving here yourself, call me, text me, email me. I'm Stephen L. Skakandy with the Skakandy Group of living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina, serviced by LPT Realty. And I help buyers and sellers and investors throughout Jacksonville and Onslow County, North Carolina. Remember, the goal isn't just for you to buy or sell a house. The goal is to buy or sell the right house at the right location at the right price. And of course, for the right reason. I'll see you in the next video, right here on living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina. Whether your time period be 9 months, 9 weeks, or 9 days, we will help you craft a strategy to help you win in this or any market. And remember, we drop new videos every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video.